So there was an interview. I'm gonna play an interview from I think it's like BBC or something, where this Zionist Neftali Bennett. I think he's like a ex Israeli um, like council member or something, like whatever kind of government those Nazis got over there. So he used to work for the government. So he's getting interviewed, and the guy asks him about killing civilians in Gaza, and he loses his mind. He calls the Gazans not he calls Arabs Nazis, right? He calls these people Nazis basically, and justifies what happens, right? I mean, the nerve of these people. But I'm gonna let that. Let's. So I saw an interview with this guy Neftali Bennett, and he was arguing with this black man, black journalist. So I'm gonna respond. I'm gonna watch this, but I just want to give some of my responses. As a black person from America, to this rabid, upset Zion Nazi. So let's go.
Those Palestinians in hospital who are on life support and babies and incubators whose life support and incubator will have to be turned off because the Israelis have cut the power to Gaza.
Are you seriously keep on asking me about Palestinian civilians? What's wrong with you? Have you not seen what happened? We're fighting Nazis. We don't target them. Now, the world can come and bring them anything they want. If you want to bring them electricity, I'm not going to feed electricity or water to my enemies.
So he said he doesn't want to help his enemies. Now, mind you, these people get $15 billion a year in tax dollars from the U.S. government, right? I guess I don't know if it's some form of reparations and support, but these they run an apartheid state, right? And that's what caused the apartheid state and the land theft and the atrocities they committed. Every action has a reaction, caused a reaction, and now they want people to be sympathetic toward them, right? Mind you, these people are against reparations for blacks in America, right? Run an apartheid state, and black people in America have to support them with tax dollars. So let's say blacks in America, pay billions of dollars in taxes. That tax money has to go to feed white, racist, Jewish people and Israel, and provide weapons for them to run an apartheid state and kill blacks or Arabs or any white Jewish person that they want, right? And then that money goes to feed and weaponize, these people so that they can oppress and run an apartheid state against people that look like me, some of them, right? Like if I was in Gaza, they might mistake me for, somebody that lived there and shoot me or, lock me up for no reason or, whatever, bomb me. You know what I mean? And so people that look, but he says you know, he doesn't want to feed or do anything to support people, that are his enemies. Well, I think if you're a black person in the United States, you're forced to support this through tax money. They tax you and send your money to Israel. You're forced to support them, right? And there's nothing you can do about it. They tax you whether you pay grocery taxes, cell phone tax, property tax, income tax, whatever. And then they take that money and give it to the Israelis that run an apartheid state, right? I've had videos. They took my channel down because I published videos of them calling people niggers, right? And all kinds of stuff in Israel, in a bar, right? And saying all kinds of heinous stuff about black people, right? And what did they do? What the YouTube Nazis do? They struck my channel and took my channel down. Because I mentioned it probably a couple of times too much. I didn't mention it, I just showed videos of them doing it, right? Every time I put up a video of these Zion Nazis doing something like that, they struck my channel, right? And now you're supposed to feel sorry for them, right? He complains about he doesn't want to do anything for people that are his enemies. Well, listen, white Jewish man, if you're running an apartheid state right? And matter of fact, the Jewish people were the reason why they had slavery in the United States. There was a man called Judah P. Benjamin. He was second in charge of the Confederacy. He was a Jewish man who fled to England after the Confederacy lost, right? So they led, white Jewish people led blacks in America into slavery under the Confederacy. You see? So they technically would be the enemies of black people in America. But black people in America are forced to give money to support and feed these people against their will. You see? But this is the mentality of these people. They're entitled. You see, they're entitled to commit genocide. They're entitled for you to have to pay them to mistreat you and oppress you. It's insane. Stand by.
Right now, I've heard you enough.
No, I understand. We're trying to have a conversation here. Listen, this is my program. This is my show. And I am asking the questions. You're raising your voice, and I've asked you, and we've already stopped, please, and let me finish. We've already distinguished between Hamas.
I want to tell you,
You're trying to speak over. No.
Shame on you.
It's nothing about shame. We're trying to have a conversation about a very serious situation here, and you are refusing to address it.
Jump over immediately, and again.
So I'm gonna stop that right there, right? But you see how when somebody tries to hold them accountable, right? They try to talk about shame on you, you know, who are you? You know, they're above reproach, above accountability, right? They're always the victim, right? They play the victim card, right? Like, so you be fucking people over, and then when something happened to you, you're a victim. No, that's not how it works. That's called karma, right? That's called blowback, karma, whatever you want to call it. In the real world, right? It's called fuck around and find out. But in their world, it's, you know, it's something else. Like they're a victim. You see, it's not fuck around and find out. It's I'm a victim, and everybody else is Nazis. I don't know if he knows the definition of Nazi, but if you looked up in a dictionary, his picture would be there. You see? Why is that? What is a Nazi? He said Palestinians are Nazis. Palestinian Arabs can't be, how the Arabs in Palestine are Nazis? He said he fighting the Nazis. And that the Arabs are, all Arabs, I guess, to him are Nazis, right? The thing about that is, these people prey on your stupidity, on ignorance and weakness, right? What is a Nazi? A Nazi is nothing but a fascist who's also a white supremacist. Well, by that definition, Arabs can't be Nazis. See, Nazi has nothing, a Nazi is just a fascist. What is a fascist? A fascist is when you have a state and a corporate apparatus that works together, right? Okay, that's considered fascist, right? When you have a state in with like the state of Israel, so you have a combination of corporations and government entities, right? Private corporations, that's fascism. So that would be the state of Israel, right? And then they're white supremacists. Okay, when you add the white supremacist element, that makes them a Nazi. It's short for National Socialist, right? So we have to understand, like, the meanings of words that people are using. So by that definition, this man would be considered a Nazi, not the Arabs. But he would like you to think that, he said, well, these Arabs are Nazis, we're fighting Nazis, right? And so they want to be able to make bombastic statements, and when they get called to accountability, then everybody's a Nazi, they're the victim, right? They want you to do things that they don't want to do, right? They want you to support, even though these people are Nazis, Zion Nazis, right? They're against reparations for black people, right? Some of they're highly anti-black, right? Anti-Arab, you name it, right? They supported slavery in the United States, right? Jewish people ushered in slavery, right? etc. They run apartheid in Israel right now, based on, if you look at Human Rights Watch, groups like that, and black people have to pay money to them to do it. You see, but they will say, well, black people are anti-Semitic and Nazis. If you don't agree with me, you are anti-Semite and you're a Nazi, etc., etc. Right? I mean, this is the nonsense and the insanity you have to deal with. But Scott Ritter says something that's true, and this man proved it. He said this has to be decided on the battlefield. These are not people that you can make a deal with. Every problem can't be solved with logic, and this is not a problem that's going to be solved with logic. They have to solve that problem on the battlefield. He said, once they suffer a strategic defeat, then they will want to make a deal. Exactly. That's all I got.